Well, hello. We're here today to talk about radical life extension. Radical life extension is the ability to live indefinitely, barring any sort of disaster like a car crash or suicide or anything like that. And it's just a movement, basically it's a sub you can call it a subgenre of transhumanism. And Bryan Johnson has uh, brought this into the public consciousness more than probably anybody has. And he's his background, he created a payment solutions company. He ended up selling it for about 700 million. And a lot of the skills that allowed him to do that, he's brought into the radical life extension movement. And I'll explain more about that later, like what skills has helped him bring this to the public consciousness more. The one thing about radical life extensionism is, or radical life extension, rather, is it's the reason it wasn't in the public consciousness before. One of the issues with it is that it was associated mostly with nerd culture and a select group of scientists, just people that probably became scientists because they were part of this nerd culture that was interested in radical life extension. People like Aubrey de Grey, who's had a lot of TED Talks that's brought this more into the public consciousness himself. But somebody that's um, not necessarily as good as Bryan Johnson as getting the word out there. So what Bryan Johnson, his background is, what helps him to bring this to the public light is he does have a knack for marketing. He's got a knack for putting together companies and businesses and bringing those and spreading them widely, to their own kind of niche audiences and creating niche audiences. And so these marketing skills are the reason why Aubrey de Grey, who if you look at his old videos, he's been around for years. Everybody in the radical life extension movement knows him, and these views are like what 3, 4, 5,000 for at his just when he interviews or talks or something, unless he happens to get on a big podcast. So this guy, he's getting like 100,000 views on his video. There's a lot of people out there talking about him, and a lot of them are making fun of him, which I think helps. If you can have a sense of humor about yourself, if you can kind of put yourself out there like that, it's going to get more people talking. I would say that the guy is his message is good. Okay, so what is his message? It's essentially his message is he's got a protocol, and you guys can check it out later. Maybe I'll link to his website, but he's got this blueprint protocol that he does, which is very hard to adhere to for the average person. And I wouldn't jump right into it. Just make some healthy changes in your lifestyle and slowly roll these things into wins. But I would say he's not perfect. His protocol is not perfect. For example, I think that he has a lot of pressure on him to look young. He's at the forefront of this movement he created. So because it's like an anti-aging movement, there's a lot of pressure to look young. And it's not necessarily conducive to uh, life extension. It's not conducive to, eking out this few extra years. I'm sure his protocol ekes him out like in an extra decade or so. But could he get 3, 4, 5 more years if he wasn't so focused on youthfulness? And maybe he doesn't think those 4 or 5 years matter or they're worth it. Maybe he doesn't think shifting vitality for that is worth it. I can tell you he dyes his hair, for example, and I can't see that necessarily reducing the actual age of his hair. I can't see hair becoming healthier from dyeing it. And okay, so maybe that doesn't transfer to radical life extension. Maybe hair health, you don't need it to live longer. That's fine. But he also does testosterone, and that's definitely going to take some years off you, I would think. Testosterone, I mean, it looks like some of the longest lived people in history actually had lower testosterone than the general population. Granted, you're going to lose some, you gain a lot of youthfulness from taking testosterone, from bringing it up to levels of a younger guy, but it's not going to extend your lifespan any. He takes he does like fat injections in his face. That's I think there's probably some complications from that you probably shouldn't be doing that. And the only reason to do that is just to try to have a more youthful looking face. And his diet, it's near perfect. My criticism would be that it is a vegan diet, and there's some things you can only get from meat. And like if you look at the mortality rate of vegans compared to the standard American diet eaters, it's the exact same. These people are healthier for longer into their life, so it's probably superior to the standard American diet. No doubt. Veganism is no doubt superior to the standard American diet. As far as health is concerned, but it doesn't extend your life. These people die at the same age as everyone else. If you're going to die at 75, you become a vegan, you die at 75. The benefit of being healthier during that last 10 or 15 years probably makes veganism worth it. But vegetarians just tend to live like a good 10 years longer, almost 10 years longer. And so we're looking at people like, if you look at the Seventh Day Adventist studies, these guys are living 10 years longer. So why did he choose veganism over a vegetarian diet? I'm not sure. And I do understand what he's doing as far as getting feedback from his organs and things of that nature. So maybe it's just feedback that he sees from the vegan diet that he wouldn't see from a vegetarian diet. And it doesn't take into account the feedback that he wouldn't see, the data he wouldn't be able to collect because there are unknown unknowns. I think his son probably has the more ideal diet, to be honest with you. His son, I think, throws in he throws in a chicken breast somewhere. Maybe it's with lunch, but that one chicken breast could be the difference. And why his son, well, his son started younger too, but it's probably why his son his diet is more beneficial for longevity. Was it? So there's some things also I don't understand as far as he's concerned. But overall his message is good. He's bringing this to the public light. He's using his marketing skills to bring this to everybody, and it's good that he has like an actual blueprint. You can go to a site, you can look at it, you can steal exactly what he's doing, and he's spending $2 million of research to make this work. So I would say take a look, copy it to the best of your ability if you can, and if you can't, then focus on some core areas that and he brought it up in a few talks. Get a good night's sleep. 7 hours is probably ideal. There's studies showing people that sleep 7 hours live longer than those sleeping 8, 9, or 6. So 7 hours is probably about ideal. But say if you're getting a good night's sleep, then you'll naturally wake up after 7 hours anyway, and you don't have to focus on the time so much. So a lot of his routine, he says, is to help him sleep better. So that this is basically some key takeaways you can take. Sleep more, exercise like 6 hours a week. You know, um, about an hour a day. It's not hard to get in. You go for say a jog, um, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and you weight lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's not hard. Just do it for an hour each day. Well, actually, I would say maybe a jog is not best. Maybe uh, spread it out. Do some long distance runs and mix that in with some high intensity interval training. But basically, he eats natural food. He doesn't overeat. So these are some things you can do now to move you more towards maybe adding some years to your life. Some people claim just from getting sleep, exercise, and eating food that's not completely terrible for you. And of course, avoiding addictions too, like smoking or drugs. But just from sleep, exercise, avoiding drugs, and eating a reasonable amount of healthy food. So you don't want to be too fat or too skinny, basically. Maybe a BMI of like 22 is best. But don't I guess so. If you eat healthy, make sure you don't eat too much healthy food. Just eat what you need to survive. And anyway, that's all. And then I hope you guys took something away from this.